Do you feel it, that something is going on in this world? Do you feel the change in yourself? Do you see it in your surroundings? You might realize this, or you might not, but the whole world is going through a change right now. Actually, it's happening all the time. But now it's as if it's quickening, as if this container is just so much more condensed, as if there is more going on, more happening, as if the time is just quicker. So much more going on in everyone's lives and on a global scale. And that's just a natural process of our evolution of this world. So maybe you have asked yourself, what is this all about? This life here on this planet? What is going on in this world? So yeah, what is it? What is going on? I'm Victoria, and these are the broken down basics from Demystifying Spirituality. And it's basically just about giving you an introduction to the many different topics that there are on spirituality and personal growth. So let's start with that question. Why are we here on this planet? I don't know if anyone really truly feels the answer to that. But we are here for our own growth. We are here to learn, to grow, to live, to go through experiences, whether they are good and positive or if they feel to be negative. No matter what label we put on it, it all has a certain benefit to our growth on this personal level, but also up there. So what is up there? You know, the way I go by, that what I believe to be true, is that we here in this earth, on this planet, are just our personality, are just this body, this container through which our higher beings live through. And that would be our soul, and then our spirit. And above that comes God. And I do believe in God, but not in the God as a figure, as a person. I believe it to be a consciousness, an energy. I believe it to be everything at the same time. All that there is, everything, but also that what seems to be nothing. It's just the source from what everything comes from, the smallest particle coming from that one source, from the above, flowing down into us. The energy spreading from the source, flowing downwards, just like the water coming from a source somewhere in the mountains, flowing down, making a stream and then a bigger river, and at some point reaching an ocean. And this ocean is made out of small particles of water. And then come the atoms. So all of that, all of this world is just a replication of that what is there above. You know, that saying, as above, so below. As in small, so in big. Everything just mirrors each other in the universe. The parallels you might sometimes see. Those moments where you feel like you know this already. This is like a déjà vu, or déjà vu. I always confuse how the way to speak it is. So, what are those moments where you feel like you have already lived it? Maybe you have dreamt of it and now it happens. Maybe it just feels like a memory. And you might notice this saying that everything is now. Everything happens in this moment. And that's also something I believe to be true. We perceive time here because the frequency and the energy is so slow. And everything has a frequency and an energy. It just sometimes is higher and sometimes is lower, just like the colors have all the different frequencies, and some colors we cannot see and perceive. It's the same with all the other energies, like the sound waves that we hear but cannot see. So why not? Why not trust that there is so much more we cannot see? It is there. We just have to start to recognize that as a truth. Perceiving that of which we cannot perceive. Trusting it. Trusting that energy. And trusting that what we see right now is still that same energy, that frequency. But it's just so slow that we perceive it. It is something which is accessible to us. And there are also some things which are not. That's just the normal part of it. Just like in our brain, we have the conscious things that go on, and we also have things which we cannot perceive. We have things stored in our brain which we cannot reach. Old memories, information, things we have learned in the past. Everything is somewhere there. But do you notice all of that at the same time? No, you don't. And it's the same with that what you perceive. So at this moment right now, you perceive that what you're looking at. You perceive me watching this, sitting in your room or wherever you are right now. And this is just this one little moment in time where you are doing this. And because of frequency, the waves are so slow, you perceive this to be a time, a continuous time which you go and live through. But actually, it's just a little moment. And this little moment is happening all the time with all the other little moments. And you can either see it as this line going and having cause and effect, or you can see it as just this one point. If you turn that line around, then you perceive it as a point. It's just about the way you see the things. And then you realize this path, the time, is just all the small little moments put together into a string for your brain to understand better. And if you go deep into physics, you might actually start to recognize a lot of the spiritual topics hidden there. You might start to hear about light being a wave, but also being a point. So it's all there, and it just has to be reached. It has to be accessed and proven in this world for it to become true. Because all the spiritual talk is just so up there, so bubbly, so vague, and not laid down by facts. And in this world, we are programmed to go by facts, to trust authority, to trust doctors and scientists and teachers and our parents and anyone with authority, like the politics, to trust all of those more than that what we feel to be true. We learn to trust others more than our own truth. We learn that when we feel a no, but everyone else says yes, that it's a yes. And so we learn to overstep our own boundaries. And so we learn to throw away our own truth. And then at some point, we might realize that we are not living ourselves. We are not living that what we believe to be good. We are not living that what we want. Because we have been so influenced by everything around us, by the society, by the media, by our upbringing, by everything, that we might not even know what we want. We might not even know who we truly are because we are so separated from ourselves. So we go and reach that point where we go away and realize, and then at some point we start coming back. We start coming back to our essence. We start going back to ourselves, uncovering and peeling away all that programming, everything that we have thought we are, but we not actually are. And this is what a lot of people say about inner child work. We go back to being like a child. We go back to being pure. We go back to being ourselves. Because when a child doesn't want something, it doesn't do it. It lets everyone know that it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't swallow it down and trust that whatever else someone else is saying is the right thing. At least not at the beginning. Not when the child is very small. If it doesn't like the food, it's gonna spit it out. If it's angry, it's gonna start crying and forcing and making sounds. So the child still trusts those impulses, the intuition that it has. Until a certain point where the impulses from the outside are stronger, when it has to adjust or when it has to rebel, choosing those two paths, choosing to either accommodate themselves and close away that what it believes to be true. Or it still goes for that, but maybe reaches points where everyone else is not happy with how the child is. Where suddenly the child is rebelling against the parents, the society, even though it just feels it's doing that what it's supposed to be doing. And no one of these paths is better than the other. Both are hard. Both are there to teach you something. And it's just about what path you have chosen for yourself. Because even if you don't realize that as a child, you might not think consciously about that what you are doing. A part of you up there has chosen that path for you. And that path is not laid down a stone. All of your paths are just probabilities in your life. Some more probable than others. So how does that work? It works up there. Your soul, when incarnating and before that, chooses to go into a certain experience, chooses to go into your human life on this earth, wanting to experience all that there is to it, wanting to experience family, a job, food, and also all of the emotions that come with it. It wants to experience pain and anger and sadness and happiness and joy. All of that, which is a human experience, wants to be learned and lived through by a part of you. No matter if it feels good or bad or does it seem in a certain way. Up there is no judgment because there is no polarity. Not in the sense that we perceive it to be here. There is a polarity, but in a different way. So what you see here as good or bad, up there, it's just something which is an experience. What you feel here as cold and warm is just temperature. And that's the polarity in this world, the polarity of the universe. You know, there is, in physics, for example, this theory about the white holes being the polarity to the black holes. And if we go by that the whole universe has this polarity, then that is true. Just like we have those two poles of the earth and the different forces, the magnetic forces and the electric forces. Just like we have a plus and a minus, like we have the woman and a man. Everything here has those two sides of the coin, but it's still one. It's still the one coin. And that is the beauty in it. The beauty is when we transcend that, when we realize there are those two aspects, but it's all just the one. Two sides of that one thing. And just like the coin has this ring around it, that place where it's not on this side or on this side, but just like this middle equator, just like the earth has an equator. It's like that also in all the other things. This point of neutrality, this point where you reach that calmness, that peace, where you are in the middle, where there is a balance, where there is peace and neutrality. And if you reach that, if you stay in that space all the time, you will be happy. You will be at peace. It is what some call buddhi. This state, which some people believe to be enlightenment. But that state is not the goal. The goal is to always grow and always evolve, just like the universe expands all the time. The goal of us as a human being, as the soul, as the spirit, and just as God, is to create more. Let our energy flow out into this world. Let God live through us. And now is the time for it. Now, where we have so much freedom in this world, at least what seems like freedom. Now, when we have all the resources, when we have food, where we don't have to think about searching or hunting for food. Now, where we have a warm place to live in. Now, where we have enough money to live comfortably. Now, when the consciousness of this world is a bit higher, and we actually have time to think about ourselves, about the quality of life, about that what we truly want, because we have reached that comfort zone. We have reached that time where we don't have to worry so much about those things that others had to worry before us. And it's all different around the different places in the world. In some parts, people still have to think about those things. In some parts that are involved in wars or in terrorism, it's still different. But for all of those of us who have reached that point of comfort, who have had enough of all of those things that we need for life, all of those basic needs covered, more than covered, those of us can start thinking about ourselves. What am I doing out of my life? What am I creating with the possibilities I have? And those possibilities right now are endless. You are the only one putting a boundary on yourself. You just have to start reaching for that what you want and following that path. You have to start thinking about yourself. If you have all that you need for your basic needs, you have to start thinking about, is it truly making me happy? Is this what I want to make out of my life? Is it fulfilling me truly on a deep level and not just in my head? Am I deeply fulfilled? Am I deeply happy? Do I feel aligned in my life? These are questions you should be thinking about. Because money is something you can always get more of. But if you just focus on that all the time, getting more and more and more of that which you already have enough, why? Why would you feel like you need that? If it's just this endless search, this endless going for more, driving you, those desires which are not really making you happy, giving you a false sense of fulfillment, at that point you can start to question yourself. Start questioning what you think to be right and what is actually right for you. Because each individual of us is different. What is right for you might not be right for the other. What is a sin for you might not be a sin for the other. Because what is a sin? If any of you are religious in this sense, they know all the doctrines put on by those institutions. And knowing all of those sins. And the sin, it's then where you go against yourself. Where you go against your own moral code. When you do something that you know is not good. Because if you don't have the consciousness to realize you are doing something false, you cannot blame yourself. Because you are like a child that does something and later maybe realizes it's a mistake. But at the end, it's not a mistake. It's just a lesson. It's a lesson for you to grow. It's a lesson for you to realize more. It's a lesson for you to gain more and more consciousness, to become more godlike, to reach that what is now called the Christ consciousness. And what is that? It's basically just that level of consciousness where you're aligned with that what you truly are, where you are connected to those higher realms, where you have accepted all parts of yourself and know that all that is going on in the world is good and is coming from God, even if it seems bad. And I'm not saying that you should start seeing things that are bad as good. You shouldn't start disregarding things that you shouldn't be doing. If you feel like you shouldn't be eating fast food but you still do it, you should stop if you are ready for that. And not force yourself, but actually truly allow yourself to let go. Because if you just force yourself to follow certain things that you believe to be true without really feeling them, you will end up frustrated, not happy. You will feel forced, as if you yourself has forced yourself to do something. But at the end, it's all your own responsibility. All this life is about taking responsibility for all those different aspects of it. For your health, for your happiness, for your family life, for your income, for your surroundings, for your own self. And that begins with taking care of yourself, with taking responsibility for yourself, with taking responsibility for the pain you might feel and for the happiness you feel, with taking responsibility for all your actions and the consequences that come with them. not just ignoring that what your actions cause. Because all of your actions have a certain consequence. It can be small, but it can also be huge. And you might know the saying that the wings of a butterfly on one end of the earth can cause a tsunami on the other. That is just a way for you to show how everything is interconnected, how this whole existence is interconnected, how one blow of the wind comes from somewhere, from that source or from whatever caused it. Everything is just like this big web connected to each other. All of existence being like a network in your brain, connected and working together, just like your whole body is working together. Everything being connected. Your heart knowing its exact function and doing that. Your eyes working. All the cells in your amazing body doing their job. Just like your whole organism is perfectly working together. It's just the same for all of existence. You might just not be conscious enough. Your whole awareness might not be able to grasp it, to see how huge it actually is, all of those connections. How one person and the other and all the other people are connected. You can, when you fly on a plane, look down and see it, how perfect this whole earth is. And then you can wonder about the beauty of this existence and see the godlike qualities in it. And to actually be able to accept and feel all of those happy places, all of those beautiful things in this world, you will have to step for step widen your horizon, accept both sides of the polarity, work on yourself, let go of things of the past, go and do inner work, because it's just so important consciously working on yourself, becoming aware of all your little actions and how the consequences that they bring. You choosing to eat a certain food will later have an effect on that, what your body feels. You saying something to someone will have a consequence on their life and also on the way that you feel about that, what you have said. And if you have said something and now regret it, you can change that around. You can truly, truly look deep inside of you and find that place that regrets doing that. That place where you realize you were not conscious enough to have realized that it wasn't the right thing to do or say. That space where you are vulnerable, where you feel that pain or sadness or anger that you're feeling, where you think and feel about that what you have caused the other person and that what you have caused yourself. And truly going into those spaces, into that deep vulnerability, those are the places that will heal you the most. Going deep into your own self, traveling through all your experiences that you regret, all your experiences that are still somehow stuck in your system. Any moment in your life that feels as if it's still present, even if it were in the past, it's all a sign of you just not accepting it yet, of you not being able to let it go. Because if you are truly able to let every single thing let go in the past, if you are able to accept all of that as it was, if you are able to go into all those emotions and just accept them, then you will truly be free. Then you will truly learn to be in the moment. Then you will just be yourself without all that programming from before, being conscious of your reactions to the things, not reacting automatically, but consciously. So an example would be someone saying something to you, and then you automatically getting triggered and becoming angry and starting a fight. That might have been your reaction in the past, again and again, without even being able to control it. It's kind of like an addiction. An addiction is also something you are not able to control. It just happens. It just happens without you even being aware of it. So all of your reactions, which you do unconsciously, are similar. And addictions are for me not just drugs or alcohol, but also work or watching movies. Things you do as a routine, which you are connected to, which you do unconsciously, which you do to ignore your feelings, which you do to push away your life and your responsibility, things you get lost in, things that you need to cope, things that are just dragging you away from your life. But a part of you still needs them. A part of you needs that to survive. So you can reach that point where you feel okay with yourself, where you accept that you need that, where you accept, I don't want it, but a part of me needs it. A part of me still needs it, still needs whatever am I holding on to. And that can be an addiction, but it can also be a connection to someone, which is not doing you any good. A relationship you know that is toxic, but you still hold on to that because a part of you needs it. And accepting that about yourself, that you are not perfect, that you are not yet ready to let it go, that is also a part of healing. That is that moment where you start accepting yourself for what you are, with all the good sides, but also with those shadow aspects that you might not want to see. And confronting yourself, integrating all those parts, that is the true way to go. Not just doing all of those good things, reaching for all of those good things and ignoring all of those things which you don't want to accept in yourself. Ignoring your desires, your deep dark secrets, your addictions, ignoring them will not heal your system. You have to look them in the eyes. You have to take responsibility for them. You have to take responsibility for yourself. Confront it, work through it, and look at whatever is behind it. What is causing this action? What is causing this addiction? What is causing this codependence? What is it? Is it a fear? Is it the need to feel better because you feel unworthy? Is it a need to have someone in your life or have something which gives you at least a little spark of being okay, of being welcomed in this world, of being seen, of feeling something other than emptiness? Look at that. What is behind your actions? Look at yourself in all your vulnerability. And see that also as a part of yourself. As a part which also has a benefit. As a part which has learned so much from life. As a part that is not feeling good, that is still here, that is still somehow hanging on to life and willing to go further and further. Try to find those aspects in your whole life, those aspects which are positive, even in those negative things. And accept both, integrate both in your system, transform them, heal them, and allow yourself to widen your horizon, to step out of those spaces, going deeper, trusting more, letting go, feeling free or more freedom, feeling more openness, letting go, straightening, taking responsibility, widening, getting bigger, letting more energy flow into your system, allowing yourself to breathe and live more fully, becoming more and more yourself, aligning on your path, letting all the things drop which are not aligned, and reaching that alignment, reaching that straightness, that awareness, that presence. Your whole life can change around. Suddenly you will be healthy because you will not need signs anymore that show you that you are not doing something right. Because all of the health issues come from up there. They are coming to just show you and direct you on your path, showing you that what you are doing is not the right way to go. I'm gonna send myself a sign to turn my life around. So the energy flows down, all of that energy from God, the spirit, the soul, into our body, into this life, giving us more energy, more happiness, a higher vibration, but also causing illnesses, giving us those moments in life where we suddenly have to reflect, where we maybe suddenly land in a hospital bed, not being able to move because of something that has happened, where we suddenly have to start thinking about our life, start to reflect, where we are suddenly pulled away from that what we have been doing, when we are pulled away from our addictions, where we are pulled away from our job, and then we have time to think. Then we have time to reflect. Then we have time to grow. Because it's all about growth. It's not all about making you feel good. It's about making you grow. And I hope at one point you can accept that. Accept all those negative things as something which are actually positive. Because at the end, it's growth and it's love and it's good. And that's just one of the things that goes on in the universe. And there are many others. The whole universe is interconnected. The whole universe is perfect in the way it is. And our science and our consciousness expands. The truth comes more and more to light. because truth is not something that can stay hidden for long. People can lie all they want about different things, cover up, but the truth still stays the same. The truth stays as truth. The one truth. Not all the different scenarios that we might make out of it. But we all have our ways of perception. So what you might perceive as the truth might not be the truth that the other person sees. Even a little action can have a different effect on many different people. Seeing a movie has a different effect on many different people. So the truth, the individual truth that everyone has, can also be different. And accepting all of those differences in the world is which will make us connect as humanity. Connect on that level where we accept our differences and accept that we are all one, no matter the way we think, dress, or look like. We all come from that one source.